has been a while since I read a book that was just really good, and recently I have been craving the feeling of reading a 5-star book. So I figured I would follow the lead of some of my favorite booktubers and book content creators and read their most recent 5-star book to see if I also enjoy them as much. As you'll see in the video, I like some of the books a lot more than others, and one of them was even a 6-star read. So stay tuned to see which books of this challenge you should read. Subscribe if you're new, and let's get into it.
Hello, it is officially day 1 of this challenge, so we're gonna go pick up our first book. It seems only right to get our first suggestion from one of the most OG booktubers and just like YouTubers in general, and that is of course Miss Pham. She's the first booktuber I ever watched, and she has read and reviewed so many books that I feel like it's only fair to trust her judgment, because obviously she's been exposed to so many different types of books. And last time we did this challenge and I took her suggestion, I ended up giving that book 5 stars. So after a little bit of stalking of her Goodreads, I found out that her most recent 5-star read is Mad About You by, I don't know the name of the author. I feel like in a lot of her recent videos she's been reading a lot of this author. She was giving all of them like 5 stars back to back to back, so I'm very excited. I'm really hoping that this will also become one of my favorite authors. Let's go find out. Thankfully this book is available for my library, so we're gonna go pick it up. It's available today, and we'll be back and get to reading.
Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Turn this room, turn it to an ocean. Let me float around. Eyes closed, like we're dreaming even when we're not. But you and me got a whole other meaning, I don't know how. You and me just know how it feels when we're falling in love. Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. But we can do nothing at all.
Hello, update time. I have been reading Mad About You since I picked it up yesterday at the library. I went to this cute little coffee shop. I'm obsessed with it. Everything was yellow in there. It was like such a nice vibe, and surprisingly both the book and the outfit I was wearing yesterday was completely matching the vibe. It was great. So I started reading this. I'm currently on page 123, which is chapter 17. I feel like it's definitely going by pretty quick, but also not much has happened in terms of the romance between our two main characters, and we are already like a third of the way in. So at this point I'm just like anticipating for them to get together and for the chemistry to build up, because right now they're literally just like strangers becoming friends essentially. Also, another thing that I noticed right off the bat is that this seems very similar to Funny Story by Emily Henry. I read the book like 6 or 8 months ago or something like that, and it's like very similar vibe. Like both of them are going through a breakup, and his girlfriend slash fiance moved out of his house, and then she broke up her relationship, but she was living with her boyfriend, so then she just like needed a place to stay, so they moved in together. So I guess like right now, since nothing else has happened, the story is starting to feel a little bit repetitive, because it feels like I've literally read this exact same story when I read Funny Story by Emily Henry. So it's good. Do I really think it's gonna be a 5-star read for me? Probably not. I'm very like hopeless, romantic, grand gestures type of girl. This is a little too slow pace. I want them to like ramp up their romance. I want them to get together, have some chemistry. Like to this point we're 123 pages in and there's literally no chemistry between them. There's no heated glances. They haven't even talked about anything personal to create like an emotional bond at all. Like they both just seem very inconvenienced by the fact that they have to move in together and be roommates. So I really hope that changes really quickly, because at this point I feel like I haven't really connected with either of them. I don't love either of the characters. I'm not that crazy invested, and like there's not enough going on plot wise to keep me invested, since I'm not crazy invested in the characters, if that makes sense. But you know, it's still very early on. There's still time for this book to turn around and turn into a highly rated 4-star or even a 5-star read, but as of right now I'm just not seeing it quite yet. Okay, while you're here, comment down below if you read anything by this author, if you have a favorite book of hers that you've read, or maybe there's another book that's better that you've enjoyed more that you think I should give a try. But I'll be back with more updates later. It's so funny, I'm reading this book and they're British. So for some reason now, ever since I found out that they're British, I'm just reading everything in a British accent in my head. But like, I feel like my British accent just sounds so dumb, so unnatural. Does anyone else do this, or do you just kind of ignore the fact that they have accents and then just keep reading it and whatever the normal voice in your head sounds like? Because that is so trippy. I've never like thought about it.
She was 17 with a dream of finding love again, and put her heart in the arms of someone new. He took advantage of her light, but it wasn't enough for him. So he went and left her in the dark without a clue. Oh, 18 and her life is on the line again. She's popping pills with her friends and sneaking out. She knows that she's wasting all the time with him, but she can't picture him not being around. She said,
Hello, I'm here to talk about my final review of Mad About You. This book was recommended by Pham. She has been binging everything that this author writes, and so I was really excited to dive in because last time I did this video, I gave the book that Haley had rated 5 stars also 5 stars, and it was like one of my favorite books at the time. So I was really excited to get into this. However, I didn't love this one. That being said, doesn't mean that it's a bad book. It just wasn't really what I was expecting. I went into this thinking that it was gonna be a romance book, like implied by the title, Mad About You, implied by them sitting on the couch together, implied by the back. And also a lot of the reviews that I have seen about this book online were kind of heavily suggesting that it's very like romance heavy. However, I found this to be kind of like a romance subplot at best, and more so like a woman's fiction, which is totally fine. It just happens that it's not one of my favorite plots. So this whole time I'm like reading and I'm like, okay, like when are we gonna get a moment of them together? Where are we gonna get the swoon worthy kind of like quotes for me to underline? When are we gonna get the cute little intimate scenes of them falling in love and getting together, maybe a love confession? And I felt like literally none of that really happened. It was just like super heavily based on her inner monologue and talking a lot about her past relationships. So I feel like that's why I was just kind of craving more of the romance this entire time, and then it just like never came, which kind of left me a little bit disappointed because we kept getting like little romance, little crumbs, and I was expecting those crumbs to eventually become the main plot. But I feel like in general throughout the duration of the whole book, it definitely stayed as a subplot, and there was just like so much other stuff going on. And because I was expecting this to be a romance, I was like a little bit bored. That sounds so mean, but I'm just like not really like a woman's fiction type of girl. Maybe if I had like known this ahead of time, then I would have gone into it with different expectations, and then maybe I would have like enjoyed it more for what it was. But I went into it thinking it was gonna be something else, and I was just like a little bit disappointed, I guess, because it's kind of like a thick book. So I was like, okay, at what point are they gonna get together? At what point are we gonna get their cute moments? And then that just like never really happened. So once again, not a bad book. I found the story to be interesting. I really like how it ended. This is not a bad book by any means. It just like was not really what I was expecting, and it wasn't really what I was looking for. I also didn't love the writing. I feel like her writing is very unique, and you kind of have to go into it expecting her writing to be unique. So it took me a while to kind of get into it, and I listened to the audiobook for parts of this, and the audiobook was a lot better. I really enjoyed the audiobook, but trying to read this, it just felt like a lot of work, and reading a lot of things and details that I didn't really care about because I was just like mostly interested in the romance. I don't know how to explain it. It just like was not really what I was expecting. It's not really for me, but once again, not necessarily bad. I think my final rating for this is gonna be probably like 3 or 3.5 stars, which seems so mean, but it's really not. I just like, it's just not a 4-star read for me. 4 stars for me is like books that I really enjoyed, and 5 stars is reserved for books that I'm like obsessed with and will forever and ever keep talking about. But this was just not one of those categories, so we're gonna go with a 3.5. We're gonna put this down and continue on with this challenge. Good morning. It is a new day. Believe it or not, it is still day. It just looks kind of dark in here because I live in Canada and that's just what happens during the winter. We're gonna ignore the fact that it looks like it's 7 p.m. But anyways, I am starting Play Along. I read a little bit of this last night and I am already obsessed with it. I'm loving it. I'm still at the very beginning, but this has been one of my most anticipated reads. So when I saw that Larry rated this a 5-star, I knew immediately that I had to also rate it. I have a very good feeling that this is gonna be a 5-star read for me, not only because Larry rated it 5 stars and a lot of people whose opinion I trust have rated it 5 stars, but because I have already read so many books in this series and have loved them. I didn't have the first book, but I did a reading vlog of both books 2 and 3 of the series, and I just like loved it. Book 2 especially, which is The Right Moves, I think is gonna be one of my most highly rated favorite books of the year, and we've been getting crumbs from this couple for literally so many books right now that it was like about time that they get their shit together, and about time that they get together, about time that we get to read their story. So I am very excited. This book follows a lot of my favorite tropes. It's a sports romance. The guy's absolutely obsessed with this girl and has been obsessed with her for literally 3 years, and also it's like a fake marriage, fake dating, which those like I always eat them up. Also, it's so nice to see books where the guys are literally like obsessed with the girls and they seem to like the girl more than the girl likes them, and they're just like literally working hard the entire time to like convince them to like get together. I just love a simpy man. He's also like super like golden retriever, super happy, always like making people laugh, always making people smile, and just like making everybody's days better. But we also find out very early into this book, like in the first like chapter or 2, that he has his own kind of like trauma and his own troubles that he's dealing with. But you know, unlike certain grumpy men in Grumpy Sunshine books, this one actually keeps his sadness to himself and doesn't project it onto everybody else. So it's like, I don't know, I just feel like this book right here is like the recipe for the perfect book for me. It is the recipe for a 5-star or even a 6-star read. I'm just like so excited, which is why I went and bought the physical book, even though it's literally free on Kindle Unlimited. I just knew that I wanted this. I also already have the other books from the series, so it only makes sense. And I just found out that there is the next book of the series that's coming out this coming year in April, so I'm very excited because I thought this was like the last one of the series. I thought this was where the series would conclude, so very excited for book 5. I don't know who it is about or anything. I haven't like looked into it yet. I've already been annotating like crazy this book, so I just really just need to dive into the story and read it all, and that's the plan for today. I literally have nothing else to do, so I'm gonna sit and relax and finally get into the story.
That's too late, and I dealt the cards, but you played them. I wrote your name in the pavement. Oh, why would you leave? Why'd you settle for lesser? Cause she ain't the same as she was when I met her. I pulled up at 3, hoping things would be better. Drag me down to her level, our lips came together, and she tastes like liquid light. Feels just like flying too close to the sun.
With this book, everything about it. I love Isaiah, I love Kennedy. She's like very like reserved, she wants to be taken seriously at her job, and since they work together, has never hung out with any of the players outside of work. She never talks to them, never interacts with them. So it is so freaking great to see that. And then in comparison, you get Isaiah, who's like super fun, super playful, like golden retriever boyfriend to the max, and he's just like always cracking jokes, always making her laugh. She's not like grumpy, but you know in like Grumpy Sunshine how one of them is always like super playful and out there, and the other one is just kind of like more serious. Like that's what it feels like. I'm freaking loving it. Also, they just mentioned someone who's gonna be taking over this league, and I'm starting to think that this is what the next book is gonna be about, because they just mentioned that she's like really attractive 30-something-year-old. I love everything about this. I'm literally highlighting and underlining stuff on every single page pretty much. I love how simpy Isaiah is. He's just like, he's crazy for this woman. Like he's been obsessed with her for 3 years. She's never given him a chance, so now that they're forced to like be fake married, he's like doing everything to the extremes, and I love that. I love them together. I love Isaiah. Wow, I'm already on page 76 and I have very strong 5-star feeling about this one. Oh my god, I'm so happy. Also, I have no idea who made this playlist. Oh, list on 4. The author made this playlist, but it makes sense. I was gonna say it is literally perfect, like the timing of the playlist versus what's happening in the book.
Beautiful, she's a little bit toxic and she tastes like liquid light. Feels just like flying too close to the sun. I swear that she don't even know how to love, 'cause I'm getting shivers whenever we touch.
One of my favorite things about this book is their dynamic of her being chased by him all the freaking time, and she like barely gives him little like breadcrumbs, and even so he just like clings onto it, and he's still committed and like believes in fate, and he believes that they're meant to be. I just absolutely love it. For example, he's like, Kennedy, I have feelings for you, and she's like, they'll pass. Like she literally gives him nothing to work with, and he's just like non-stop trying and flirting. The banter between them is freaking amazing. I'm like living for it. She goes, so that's why you haven't left me alone all these years? I should have been nice to you all this time, I guess. He goes, I probably would have proposed to you a handful of times by now if you were nice, mean, I'll take you any way I can get you. Like, I am obsessed with them. This is in the back of the book, so it's not a spoiler, but basically they get really drunk and get married in Vegas, and then they have to deal with the consequences of that going back since they work together. She's about to get fired because obviously the like physicians that work on the players are not allowed to date the players, so they agreed to basically be fake dating and fake married for the duration of the season until she can go onto her new job. He goes, maybe if I wasn't such a goddamn hopeless romantic, her insistence would hurt a bit more, but I keep hearing the words 6 months. I have 6 months to change her mind about me. Hello, I'm still reading Play Along. I'm currently at about the 70% mark. I'm on page 246, and so much is happening. This for sure still feels like a 6-star read. I absolutely love it. I'm reading it on my Kindle just because I feel like I read faster on the Kindle, but every time I take a break from reading on my Kindle, I literally just transfer all of my highlights and my tabs, and I have highlighted and tabbed and underlined literally so many things in this book. I am absolutely loving it, and I love that you can tell how much I love books based on the amount of tabbing that is done to them. I think it's like one of my favorite parts. It's like combining 2 hobbies in one. Like reading the books is one hobby, we love it. Buying physical copies of the books, another hobby, love it. But sitting and underlining your favorite parts, it's just like so fun. And I was telling my boyfriend that I'm really enjoying this book, and he was asking like questions like, hey, what do you like about it? And then he was like, next time I come over, I'm just gonna take a peek at your tabs. And at first I was like, whoa, like relax, like Savannah, slow down sort of thing, because what do you mean? I feel like tabs just feel so private, especially when you're like underlining specific things and like writing stuff on the margin. But I just think it's so cool that books can make you feel so many things and can make so many different, literally like words on a paper mean so much and represent so much, and I'm just like loving this. I'm gonna do a little bit of reading and then I'll be back with more thoughts and opinions, because I've been having a lot of those when it comes to this book.
She was 17 with a dream of finding love again, and put her heart in the arms of someone new. He took advantage of her life, but it wasn't enough. So yeah, running after in the dark without a clue. Oh, 18 and her life is on the line again. She's popping pills with her friends and sneaking out. She knows that she's wasting all the time with him, but she can't picture him not being around. She said, so why can't we feel something different? We just need to close that distance. Bring me close to you. Don't let go, don't let go. And I hate finding new beginnings. Let's just make toxic commitments. I'm not over you. I can't let go, I can't let go. I was 17 with a dream of finding love again. I'm burnt out and I need somebody new.
Hello. If you couldn't tell by my reactions to everything, this book is of course a 5-star. I may even argue that it is a 6-star. It is just so fun, so exciting. I tabbed so much of it. Isaiah is just the perfect book boyfriend I think of literally all time, and Kennedy together, they are such an amazing combination of people. I love their personalities, I love their story, I love everything about this. I'm so glad they finally got their own book because I've been dying to read about them for like the last 3 books since they've been mentioned. So yeah, if it was somehow unclear, this book is definitely it, and I'm very happy that I read it. Thank you, Larry, for recommending this, even though I was definitely planning on reading it at some point, but I got to read it sooner rather than later since I was filming this video. 10 out of 10 on this book. Please give it a read. Try out the series even if you don't like the first book. I DNF'd the first book, but it just keeps getting better and better, and I love this book. I cannot wait for the next book to come out. But until then, we're gonna move on to our next read for this video. This is a recommendation from Sara Carrolli. She talked about this in one of her YouTube videos, and then I saw on her Goodreads that she rated this 5 stars, so I had to go and give it a read. I actually picked this book up when I was in LA. I started reading it and then I kind of soft DNF'd it because I just got really busy on my trip doing a bunch of stuff. So now is gonna be the time that I actually give it a good proper shot and I actually read it and I pay attention and I give it the time of day that it deserves, because I feel like this is gonna be a good read. Is it gonna be a 5-star read? I don't know, we shall see, but it is looking very promising. So let's get into this and I'll be back with updates later. I haven't even any updates on the X Vows and I'm about like halfway done already, so I figured it was about time that I did that. Everyone has been obsessed with that book, has been so highly rated. If you guys haven't seen my doing bookish stuff in LA video, then you wouldn't know that I actually ended up choosing that book from like a romance only bookstore while I was over there because it is set in California, and I was like, this seems like the perfect kind of vibe, and that's why I got it. But then when I came back, I was like reading other books and I kind of like DNF'd it, but it was like 40 pages in, like I wasn't really into it, and I knew that I had to actually give it a proper time of day because everybody had loved it so much, and I felt like I had to sit down and read it and give it all my attention and all my energy in order to appreciate it to its max, you know what I mean? So that being said, I started the book and it is so cute. First of all, it is a second chance romance, which is one of my favorite tropes ever so far. It's like really cute, it's really sweet, it's nice to get a little bit of the backstory of what happened to them. This basically follows the story of these two estranged exes. They haven't spoken to each other, they had a messy breakup, but now they have to come together because their mutual best friend is getting married to the love of his life and everything is just going wrong, and they have been asked to help kind of like sort through all the different crises that are happening with cakes, with DJs, with like literally venues. Like everything is going wrong, like absolutely everything's going wrong at this wedding. And so far that has been a really fun little side. I feel like a lot of the books that I read don't have that kind of like vibe. I don't usually read a lot of books that are about weddings or around weddings, so this is definitely like very interesting in terms of the plot, in terms of everything that's happening out there. I'm absolutely loving the friendships that are being shown between the 3 of them. They've been best friends since they were little, and it is so nice to just get like little insights to how their friendship has changed over the years, how they met, how they bonded, how they grew together when they grew apart and everything like that, and how the main couple's breakup affected the trio friendship that they had going on. So that has been super interesting so far. I cannot wait to see how it goes. So far it's very good, it's very fast paced, and the romance seems really sweet. There's also a little bit of like mental health awareness. They talk about anxiety, which I think is like pretty cool when that's like shown in books because so many people struggle with it. It's always nice to see stuff like that more normalized and talked about, so I'm really enjoying that part of it. I am gonna listen to the rest of it on my audiobook. It's on Spotify, which we love. 10 out of 10. I absolutely have been eating up audiobooks on Spotify, and one of my favorite things to do while listening to audiobooks is coloring. I picked this up on Amazon like a couple weeks ago and I have been loving just like coloring things in. it's so fun. It's like such a relaxing little side activity to be doing while you're listening to a story, especially if the narration is good. It can be such a good vibe. So absolutely loving it, eating it up. Guys, I officially finished reading the X Vows today, and this is such a cute little romance. I feel like everything that I mentioned in my last little book update still stands. It's still very much the same, and it continued on for the end of the book as well. I really like the ending. I like how everything kind of like wrapped up really nicely, and I also love the attention to detail. Everything about their story kind of made sense according to how things were explained that they were, according to their personality. But it was really sweet that her whole kind of like obsession with lists made a comeback, wrapped the story in like a nice little bow at the end. It's hard to explain what I mean if you haven't read the book because I really don't want to spoil it, but if you read it then you know. Also, the writing in this was pretty fun. It had a decent amount of like inner monologue and thoughts and dialogue. It wasn't like too much of one or the other. I feel like the writing in this is very similar to like Emily Henry kind of writing, so if you enjoy Emily Henry's books, I feel like this one is gonna be one that you might enjoy as well. I thought the romance was just like so sweet and it was adorable. That being said though, I feel like I cannot give this 5 stars. I was expecting this to be a 5-star read because I've seen so many people give it 5 stars. Obviously Sara Carrolli gave this 5 stars, which is the reason why I picked it for this video, so I was really excited. But I feel like after reading Play Along, going straight into this without reading like a palate cleanser, I feel like this one just didn't even get a proper chance. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's really hard to give books 5 and 6 stars back to back because one of them will just be really good and set the expectation, so then it's like really hard for the next one to kind of follow up. Also, it is a little unfair because I loved Play Along so much. Like, it's probably one of my favorite books of the year, so once again, really like tough act to kind of follow, but that's not to take away from how good this is. I did really enjoy it. I think my final rating is probably gonna be like 4, maybe 4.25 stars. I feel like that feels pretty good. I definitely recommend. It's very cute, it's very sweet. I do wish that it was set in the fall or in the winter, just because it's like going into the holiday season as I'm filming this video. The vibes from this were definitely like more summery, more wedding season and that sort of thing. So if I had read this book like in the spring or the summer, I would have probably rated it higher because I am such an atmospheric kind of reader. But yeah, I thought it was really cute. Also, I'm obsessed with this cover. I think it's so freaking stunning. I love all the details about this. I love the vines. They're just like so cute, so cute. Now Jessica Joyce has another book that she released. I don't know if it's before or after this, but I do want to get my hands on that and read it eventually, but definitely gonna have to wait until the right season for that. I literally stopped filming for this and then I came back when I realized that I'm wearing an I Love LA shirt. I just think that's like so funny. I'm not from LA, but I've traveled there and really enjoyed it. But what's funny about it is that this is like a random sleep shirt. I don't wear this often at all, and it just so happens that I'm like wearing it today as I'm reading this book that's literally set in California. But that is so funny. I love that. Wow, look at that. I'm very on theme today. Hello, it's time for our next book. I started reading this super late last night. It is The Bonus by L.T. Swan. I've never read anything by this author, but Yana is the YouTuber that recommended this. Me and her have like pretty similar tastes. I feel like I tend to really like the books that she likes, and I also don't like a lot of the books that she mentions that she doesn't like. I'm not saying we have like 100%. The only difference between our tastes, I would say, is that she tends to go for more, a little bit on the darker romance, a little bit more on the spice, a little bit more towards like morally gray and like dark kind of characters. So I imagine this won't be an exception. This book follows the story of Gracie, who's a girl main character, and she's a personal assistant to this guy who is a super rich billionaire CEO, workaholic, morally great. Like, you get the picture. He's like the epitome of that trope. He's very mean, he's very grumpy, and she has just been madly in love with him for the last 7 years of them working together. At a certain point, she decides that enough is enough and she's just gonna quit that job because she can literally not function. All she thinks about is her boss, and on the weekends when she's not working, he's off like living his luxurious life, flying places, traveling, living like super fancy life, and all she does is just like dream about him and think about him. So she decides to call it quits, put in her resignation. Obviously he doesn't take it well because he's a very bossy, controlling man, and he offers her a little bonus to kind of incentivize her to stay. So this is all I'm gonna say about the premise of this book. I have started reading it. So my first thoughts reading this, I kind of feel bad for the girl main character because literally, as described in the back of the book, all she does is think about this man, and like, you know, me as a fellow baddie, I'm like, girl, like, stand up. Like, what are you doing? Like, your whole life revolves around this guy. The highlight of your day every day is going into his office and giving him his like daily little rundown, thinking about him 24/7. Her whole fucking day revolves around this guy, and like, you know, as a girl, like, you hate to see it. So that was my first initial thought, and the bonus that he gave her was definitely shocking because like, we're still so early on in the book, and then everything just gets like a massive twist. But it's so interesting to see their personalities. Like, he's very controlling, anger issues, mean, super harsh, like straight into the point, and she's just like a sensitive girl. Like, her feelings keep getting hurt over this guy and what he's saying. So I don't really know how the story is gonna go. Also, the story is 555 pages long, which if you watch one of my most recent videos, I read The Striker, which is freaking 600 pages, and I was just talking about how I don't understand why a romance needs to be almost 600 pages, and look at me now reading an almost 600 page romance once again. So we'll see how the romance goes. I'm currently 30% of the way in. I'm trying not to give too much detail because I don't want to spoil it. I do enjoy it for what it is. Do I think this guy is like book boyfriend potential? Like, am I sitting here losing my mind over him? No, like, he's attractive and he's charming and all of that, but for me personally, the whole like morally gray, like really mean, really grumpy man just like doesn't do it for me. I like men that are like super simpy and super sweet and romantic and do grand gestures. So we'll see if he's gonna like switch up towards the end of the book. I guess he kind of, something has to happen. There's no way they're gonna go on like this, but yeah, it's entertaining to read about, very fast paced. You're just like jumping from event to event to event, like so much is happening, and I'm already 30% of the way in, and according to my Kindle, I still have 6 hours left of reading. So I don't know where the story's gonna go. I'm gonna keep you posted as always, but let's do some reading. I did not realize that this book was dual POV, so imagine my shock when I've just been reading one person's POV for like literally like multiple chapters, and then I go to the next page and it says Gabriel. I have literally never cared this much about what any man has to say except this moment right here. I love dual POV and romance. I don't know what it is. It just like makes my heart so happy. This book is literally giving me whiplash. Like, so much happened at the beginning and I was like, what the heck? How am I gonna deal with this? And then it's like, bam, something happens and I change my mind, and then, you know, as soon as I settle into that idea and I'm like comfortable with my opinion, then another like 20 pages later, bam, something else happens, and it's just been so much back and forth. Like, I just don't know what to think. This is like the longest book that I've read in so long, because like, keep in mind, this book is like 555 pages long. I'm currently on page 390 in a romance book, which obviously that's like a really long book when it comes to like a contemporary romance, but also like so much has happened. Like, this isn't just like a single timeline sort of book. Like, it doesn't really go back and forth very much, but it just like jumps so much. Like, we've been following these people for over the course of like literally like 7 years or something at this point, so there's just like a lot going on. Parts of it, it's like, why am I reading this? Like, what's going on? How's it gonna end? But I'm kind of shocked to admit that I am enjoying it. Like, it's very, very entertaining because, like I said, so much is going on, so much like back and forth, and I'm constantly just like switching my opinion on these people and like how I want the story to go. So it is entertaining, like I'll give it that. I was not expecting it to be this interesting because when so much happened in the first like 20%, I was like, okay, like are we gonna follow these people through their entire lives? Like, what do you mean? Like, why are we jumping up ahead in the time so fast? Like, what is going on? But yeah, it's actually quite interesting. I'm about 70% of the way done right now. I literally have no idea where this plot is going. I don't know how it's gonna end because every time that I try to guess and I voice an opinion, I feel like it might happen or it might not happen, but then we just like complete 180, something changes, the dynamics change, something crazy happens, and it's a lot. So I'm gonna keep reading and try to see where this goes. But I've been reading this so fast. Like, I honestly, when I started reading it, I thought I was gonna hate it, and I was kind of shocked because like Yana's suggestions never usually let me down. Like, we have very similar tastes, but this guy was kind of giving me the ick, but now he's like not, and it's just like so much back and forth, so much is happening. I literally have no idea how I'm gonna rate this book. Like, I keep jumping. At the beginning I thought this was gonna be like a 2-star read. I was like, I don't know, this isn't really my style, this isn't really my vibe. It's like a bunch of the tropes that I really dislike are all jam-packed into one book, and I'm like, what is going on? But then I was like, wait, this is actually so good. So then I was like, maybe this will be a 5-star. Now I'm like, maybe it's a 4-star, maybe a 3-star. Literally, like, I have considered every single star rating as an option for how I'm gonna rate this book. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna keep reading because what is happening? Like, what is going on? I'll be back with more updates later. What the just happened? It's literally been 2 minutes since my last update. What? I'm just like so conflicted. They should be together. No, they shouldn't be together. If they get together, they're definitely gonna break up. So many contradicting opinions. But anyways, I'm gonna keep reading.
She was 17 with a dream of finding love again, and put her heart in the arms of someone new. He took advantage of her light, but it wasn't enough. So he went and left her in the dark without a clue. Oh, 18 and her life is on the line again. She's popping pills with her friends and sneaking out.
Hello, I finished reading The Bonus by LT Swan, and let's talk about it. Initial thoughts of going to the book was, what the actual am I reading? The whole beginning of it just made me get like such an egg to the point where I almost DNF'd it because the guy was just like so unlikable. He had like no redeeming qualities. He just like pissed me off, and seeing your female main character being literally obsessed with this guy pissed me off because it's like, girl, stand up. Like, her whole life basically revolved around this guy, and like I just don't really love when books are like that where the girl is like obsessed with a guy and then he just like cannot freaking be bothered. So at the beginning I was just like sitting here like, there's no way that this is the same book that Yana read and rated 5 stars, because like it's just like not really adding up. And then the beginning was also super fast paced. Like within the first 10 or 20% we have like insta lobby, then a bunch of stuff happens. Like, I'm not trying to spoil it at all, but literally like so much happens, and then we're just like time jumping so much into the future, and I'm sitting here like, okay, am I gonna read their whole life story? Like, I don't care to read their whole life story, I just want to know what happens. Also, I did not like the fact that the guy didn't get a chapter in his POV for literally the longest time, because I feel like if we had gotten a chapter from his thoughts and his opinions, then definitely he could have had more redeeming qualities at the beginning, and maybe I wouldn't have absolutely hated him. But eventually I did begin to forgive him for being such a piece of shit at the beginning of the book, because he just did so many like redeemable actions later on. This is a typical story of like grumpy billionaire boss and then a girl that works for him that is obviously not rich. So I was very familiar with the dynamic. Usually I like reading about grumpy sunshine kind of tropes, even though I would absolutely hate to date a grumpy man in real life, but they're always like super interesting, and I really like how eventually in all those books the girl brings out the best in the guy and like their softer side, if that makes sense. But I don't know, it was definitely a little weird. I definitely did not like him, and because it's a romance, then obviously I didn't enjoy the beginning of the book, but then everything just kind of started to make sense, and I think he definitely redeemed himself. But I say this book is 5 stars the way that Yana did Probably not, because again, I didn't like the guy for the first like however many pages of the book. However, he was very redeemable and I really liked how it ended. So I think I'm gonna end up rating it somewhere along the 4-star kind of vibe, because I have been thinking about the book ever since I stopped reading it, which is a good sign. However, I just like, it just didn't feel like a 5-star read to me. So that's my final thoughts for this book. Would I recommend it? If you're into the grumpy sunshine on the workplace vibe, then this might be for you. If you enjoyed the Fine Print and Dreamland Billionaire series, then you might enjoy this because it definitely has like a similar vibe. So yeah, I think that's it for my rating. So that brings us to the end of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up and comment down below what you thought, because it helps my channel grow so much. And make sure to subscribe. Also, this is officially the start of Bookmas 2024. This is my very first time attempting Bookmas. I'm planning on doing 12 days of Bookmas, so I'll be posting every single day from December 1st until December 12th. So keep an eye out for daily uploads. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. If you did, please comment this emoji so that I know. And also feel free to comment your most recent 5-star read, or if you have a book rec for me that you think I might enjoy, books that I need to read before the end of the year, comment that down below as well. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!
And put her heart in the arms of someone new. He took advantage of her life, but it wasn't enough. So he running like